In the vast emptiness of space, the year 2287 marked yet another expansion phase for the mighty Quebec See Empire. Their reputation preceded them across three galactic arms: conquerors, unstoppable, inevitable. Their warships, massive crystalline structures that folded spacetime like origami, had brought 270 species to their knees. Commander Zor Frac stood on the observation deck of the Imperial flagship Devastator, his forearms clasped behind his back in the traditional pose of contemplation. The holographic display before him showed a small, unremarkable blue planet. "Earth," he muttered, the word coming out like he'd found something unpleasant stuck between his teeth. "How has this backwater mudball avoided our glorious empire for so long?" His second-in-command, Lieutenant Graphic, shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, the Galactic Council has specifically designated Sol System as restricted space, classification extreme danger zone." Zor Frac made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a gargle. "Extreme danger? Look at it. 1 star, 9? No, 8 planets. Their technology is primitive. They haven't even colonized their own system properly." "Sir, there are stories." "Stories? Next you'll tell me you believe in the phantom void cracking." Zorfran waved a dismissive tentacle at the display. "The Council is obviously protecting something valuable. Resources, knowledge, something worth keeping to themselves." "The warning specifically mentions the inhabitants, sir. It says, and I quote, 'Approach at your existential peril. Humans are problematic.'" Zorfrag's eye ridges rose. "Problematic? That's the best threat the almighty Council could formulate?" He barked a laugh that made his gill slits flare. "Sounds like propaganda designed to keep ambitious commanders away." He expanded the hologram, zooming in on Earth with a pretorious gleam in all three of his eyes. "Well, I'm not falling for it. Prepare the intelligence division. We'll start with standard observation protocols." Graphic's skin paled to a sickly lavender. "Sir, perhaps we should—" "I didn't rise to command by being cautious, Lieutenant. This Earth will be my crowning achievement." Zorfrag's mandibles clicked with finality, and, quite possibly, my fast track to the Imperial Advisory Council. Little did he know it would instead become his most humbling education. Infiltration Specialist, Lexa, reporting for duty, Commander. The slender Quebec See stood at attention, her chameleon skin currently the formal metallic blue of Imperial intelligence. Zor Frac examined her file on his neural display. Impressive. Top of her class in xenomorphic adaptation, fluent in 37 languages, survived deep cover in the rigid hive mind for 3 cycles. Agent Lexa, your mission is straightforward yet critical. Infiltrate their society, assess their defensive capabilities, identify weaknesses, and report back. Standard protocol. Yes, Commander. And my cover identity? Our fabrication division has prepared everything. You'll be Lisa Chin, human female, occupation, tourist vlogger. Your ship leaves in 1 rotation. 3 weeks later, Zorfran received the first encrypted transmission. Commander, initial assessment is confusing. These humans are simultaneously the most fragile and most reckless species I've encountered. Their bodies break easily, no exoskeleton, minimal regenerative abilities, 0 radiation resistance, yet they deliberately seek danger. I witnessed a human intentionally jump from a perfectly functional aircraft today for entertainment. They called it skydiving. When I expressed concern, they offered to let me try. Zorfrag's mandibles clicked with amusement. Perhaps it's a ritual for their warrior caste. The next transmission arrived during 3rd meal. Update: the aircraft jumping is not restricted to warriors. I observed elderly humans and juveniles participating. Also documented humans strapping boards to their feet to slide down frozen water at lethal speeds. Humans deliberately entering chambers heated beyond their biological tolerance limits, and competitions to consume neurotoxic plant derivatives they call ghost peppers. One participant's breathing apparatus temporarily failed. The others laughed. The participant laughed too, while simultaneously producing excessive eye moisture. Zorfran forwarded the reports to his tactical division, adding his own note. Possible biological anomaly. Investigate pain response aberrations. A week later. Commander, I have infiltrated their digital information networks. Their entertainment consists primarily of simulated scenarios where their own species is nearly exterminated by various threats. Diseases, celestial impacts, and frequently alien invasions. They consider these recreational. They cheer for their own fictional demise. Zor Frac was growing intrigued despite himself. The final intelligence packet contained schematics of Earth's defensive systems. Zor Frac examined them with growing excitement. Sir, his tactical officer reported, Earth has no unified planetary defense grid, no orbital weapons platforms, and their space vessels are primitive at best. Their military forces are divided into competing factions aligned with geographical territories. Excellent. Zor Frac's mandibles spread in the Quebec See equivalent of a smile. A species too busy fighting themselves to mount a coherent defense. Prepare for Phase 2, diplomatic contact. Lex's final note, which Zor Frac unfortunately skimmed too quickly, contained a warning. Commander, despite appearances, something about these humans deeply unsettles me. Yesterday, I witnessed a human child repeatedly strike its digit with a small hammer to demonstrate pain tolerance to its peers. They all then took turns. I believe the Council's warning merits further consideration. Instead, Zor Frac was already drafting his victory announcement to Imperial Command. The Grand Ambassador Drell Mach was not pleased to be awakened from his hibernation cycle for what he considered a trivial assignment. As the Empire's most decorated diplomat, with 14 successful planetary subjugation through negotiation alone, being sent to some backwater world was beneath his station. I assure you, Ambassador, Zor Frac said, his tone carefully modulated to sound respectful while barely concealing his ambition. This mission is of considerable importance to Imperial expansion. A primitive world with pre-FTL technology? Drell Mach's gill flaps pulsated with disdain. Hardly seems worth the diplomatic pomp. Why not simply invade? Zor Frac's mandibles clicked in what passed for a Quebec See smirk. The Council has concerns. Your mission is to assess the situation while I position our fleet. A diplomatic cover provides perfect reconnaissance opportunity. Ambassador Drell Mach adjusted his ceremonial color of conquest medals. Very well. I shall make contact and prepare them for the honor of annexation. The diplomatic vessel descended towards the designated meeting point, a structure called the United Nations in the human settlement of New York. Humans had been alerted to the ambassador's arrival through encrypted channels. Their primitive media networks were ablaze with excitement over humanity's first official alien contact. They've prepared a welcoming ceremony, the cultural attaché informed Drell Mach. Our intelligence suggests they will follow Earth diplomatic protocols, including an exchange of cultural consumables. Standard procedure, Drell Mach yawned. I've ingested ritual substances from 53 species. Nothing surprises my digestive sacs. Nothing surprises anything on Earth. The landing went smoothly. Human representatives, political leaders from various territories greeted the Quebec See delegation with obvious awe. Cameras flashed. Drell Mach made a mental note that these humans seemed obsessed with capturing images. Inside the meeting chamber, humans presented what they called refreshments, dark steaming liquid and small plates of colorful food items. This beverage is called coffee, explained a human female in formal attire, and these are assorted canapés featuring global cuisines, including some spicy options, which we've been told are quite popular across cultures. Drell Mach, ever the professional, consumed the offerings without hesitation. Protocol dictated cultural respect through consumption. The delegation followed suit. 17 Earth minutes later, all hell broke loose. What the humans couldn't have known was that caffeine acts as a powerful hallucinogenic in Quebec See biology. Capsaicin, the compound giving spicy food its kick, temporarily paralyzes their secondary nervous system. Ambassador Drell Mach was the first to succumb. Mid-sentence discussing trade possibilities, his eyes dilated to 3 times their normal size. He stopped speaking, stared intently at a potted plant, and solemnly announced, "The vegetation is conspiring against us. It communicates through interpretive dance." The human delegates exchanged confused glances. Drell Mach removed his ceremonial robes and began spinning in circles. "I am the eternal vortex. Behold my gravitational magnificence." His aide tried to intervene, but was already struggling with his own hallucinations, convinced his tentacles had transformed into musical instruments. He began playing them while making discordant humming sounds. The cultural attaché fell face first into a cake, declared it a portal to the 11th dimension, and attempted to crawl through it. Global broadcast feeds captured everything. The hashtag #HighAsFuck began trending worldwide within minutes. Back on the command ship, Zor Frac watched the diplomatic disaster unfold with mounting horror. The transmission feed showed Drell Mok, the Empire's most distinguished ambassador, attempting to mate with a marble statue while reciting what appeared to be recipes. "Cut the feed," Zor Frac shrieked. "Recall the delegation immediately." "Sir," his communications officer replied, "the delegation shuttle pilot is currently, and he appears to be challenging the vending machine to a duel for the honor of a snack item." Zor Frac slumped in his command chair. This was a deliberate chemical attack. The humans